Well, folks, the markets are going red. It's about 3:40 p.m. on the East Coast. We have the Russell down 0.9%, Nasdaq's down 1%, the S&P's down 0.75%, as the Dow Jones is down 0.6%, and funny enough, the VIX is down 3%. We have the metals down. Well, I guess gold's the only one that's down. Silver's actually up 0.6%. But overall, ever since the Fed press conference, markets have been selling off, and actually the sell-off started exactly at 2 p.m. when the statement came out. So let's break down what's going on now, guys. Stocks I'm looking at, my thoughts on the market. So sit back, relax, take a sip of your coffee, hit that like button, subscribe. And if you guys want some free money, who doesn't like free money? You could get up to 20 free stocks, each up to $2,000. All you got to do is use that link down below for Moomoo. Deposit at least $100 and boom, you get some free stocks. It also helps out the channel. I appreciate you guys as always. And now let's dive into the video. So as expected today, guys, we got another 50 basis point rate hike, which we talked about on the channel. I mean, time and time again, and this was not a surprise at all. Everybody was expecting this, especially after the CPI data, which came in cooler than expected. Nobody really expected a 75 basis point hike, so we got another 50 basis point hike, which snaps the 4 consecutive 75 basis point rate hike streak that we had over the past, 4 meetings. And again, we can see the stock market really started to take a hit at that point. SPY was at about $405 and it dropped all the way to $396. That was a drop of 2.2%, and Triple Q in that same time period, let's pull it up. Triple Q ended up going down from about 291.50 to about 283. You guys can see that here. That is a drop percentage-wise of about, almost 3%. So there were some things that Powell said that we're going to talk about in this video very quickly. And initially, I believe the reason why the stock market sold off is because of the dot plots, right? The future projections, inflation is going to be higher potentially than expected. Of course, nothing really, that's not set in stone. It's just a projection, but it's higher than expected from what I was reading. And Powell said himself, inflation is higher now. It's higher right now than what he thought it would be, in the past. So, I think a year ago, or not, I don't know exactly, but let's say a year ago roughly, Powell probably didn't think inflation would still be where it is right now, being about 7%, 7.1%, even though it's come down a good amount. In his eyes, he thought it would have been lower at this point, but it's not. That's the reality of the matter. And when asked about a pivot, when the Fed's going to pivot, start cutting rates, he essentially said there's really no timetable for that. He said that the committee, they have to be on the same page and they have to actually see hardcore data that inflation is coming down sustainably in a straight line pretty much. Not like, just 1 or 2 months of, declining inflation. They have to see a ton of months pretty much, essentially, reading between the lines here, of declining inflation for them to even consider starting to cut the rates, right? And in reality, guys, we have more rate hikes to go, right? Maybe not 75 basis point hikes, but we have more rate hikes to go, whether it's 25, a couple more 25s, couple more 50s, who knows, right? Depending on how things look like in the future. So if you're thinking of a pivot, if you're getting excited like, the Fed, they're going to cut rates in a couple months, there's no chance. In my opinion, there's no chance that is happening. Just listen to how Jerome Powell answered that question. I mean, there is no shot we're going to get rate cuts anytime soon. And the alarming thing that I'm seeing right now on the charts here, let's just break this down quickly, guys, is look, we failed today and we still have about 15 minutes left of trading, but right now we are failing at this lower high right here. You guys see that, right? We're failing here on Triple Q and SPY, and this is on the 5-day, 5-minute, right, guys? And SPY is also putting in a lower high. Now, is it following, are these lower highs being followed by, huge dumps? Not quite yet. We're not quite yet dumping massively. So, I mean, of course, there's still hope for the bulls here, but if SPY starts falling under, let's say, 390, that's a big level that we've been talking about. We're about $8-9 off of that, especially, 395. That could be where things could start slipping again. Just being honest, that's where things could start slipping again based off of what I'm seeing here. And I was wrong. I think, in my last video, I said I thought there was going to be a big rally. I was completely wrong. I mean, we're red now all across the board, and that goes to show the stock market these days, guys. It's a freaking difficult beast to try and predict in the short term. It is very difficult to do that. So yeah, if SPY breaks through 95, it could start slipping. If Triple Q starts, falling under right where it's at now, the 180 SMA on the this is actually the 1 hour chart at 285. It starts getting under there, it could start slipping. It falls under 280, 278, it might come down even more. So yeah, markets are not looking too great right now. It's not awful. But it sure as heck is not great. It sure as heck is not great. And when it comes to oil, let's pull up oil and shift gears a little bit. Then we're going to talk about some stocks I'm looking at overall, kind of what I'm looking to do. Oil is up 2.7% right now. So actually a big move for oil. It's at 77, almost 77.50 a barrel, which is nuts considering a couple days ago, just 4 or 5 days ago, it was at 70 a barrel. So it is up $7 a barrel, which is about 11%. And who said that was most likely going to happen? Not to toot my own horn, but we talked about it when it was at 70. I said, guys, it's getting oversold. Expect some sort of relief rally, whether it got to 70, 68, 69, and obviously it went from 70 to now where it is. So we got the relief rally, and now the thing is, guys, we're still in a downtrend. And the truth is, this is still just simply that, a relief rally. And this could be a bear market or a bear market rally. I mean, it is. And it could be a bear trap, right? Sellers could come in on oil at about 78, 80 a barrel. And this could dump right back to the low 70s, maybe even under that, right? So at this point, we're looking at 80 a barrel for the bulls. It's going to be a big spot. I doubt that they break it in the short term, but who knows? 80 is going to be big. So watch out for that on oil. Silver is up on the day. It's doing pretty well, up 0.7%. Let's pull that up. Let's see. Yeah, silver's now peaking out of this downwards channel that we have on the 3-year chart. That's a pretty good sign for the bulls. It's not fully breaking out yet, but it's starting to peak out. And we have gold, which is slightly down on the day. It's down about 0.3% roughly. This is still in a downwards channel on the 3-year chart. If we pull the 4-hour, you can see now, if we zoom in a little bit, it is now pretty much consolidating the past roughly day or two. Let me see here on the 5-day. Actually, no, not even day or two. Really, just the past day. Past day it's been holding 1820, which is good considering that was resistance earlier this month. So, yeah, let's see if gold could hold 1820, start pushing 1850 and beyond. That's where I feel like it could be going. Now let's see if the technicals are going to back that up. So what do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comments down below about the Fed, the markets, gold, silver, oil. Drop me all your comments right down below. And now let's just run through some stocks. We'll talk about some energy stocks. We might as well just dive into those now. Then we're going to talk about some big tech and just in general what went down on the watch list today. So let's start off with some energy stocks. CVX, which is Chevron, this ended up going down. Well, markets aren't closed yet, but it is down 0.4% right now, and it is still fighting at about 168, 170 bucks, 172 bucks. You guys see that right here on the 4-hour chart. This is a very big spot for the bulls, right? It's fighting to hold that point, but we're not fully getting the breakout, right? We're not above the moving averages yet. We actually have a death cross, which is not the best sign. But on top of that, we also have an inverse head and shoulders. Do you guys see this here on the 10-day? Here on Chevron, we're making an inverse head and shoulders. So this could be gearing up for a move towards that 180 level, maybe even higher, low, mid 180s, maybe even higher than that. So this looks pretty decent. And going back to the 4-hour chart, we're going to see that if this right shoulder starts pushing, we break those moving averages, that would be really the last straw between us right now and a full-on breakout, probably back towards 190, maybe towards the $200 level. So Chevron looks pretty decent here. Exxon Mobil, pretty much the same thing, right? The chart's very similar. We're holding old highs from months ago right now as support. That's a good sign, but we're fighting with the moving averages on the 4-hour chart at about $108, $9, $10. So that point needs to break. My alert's at 112. I might as well put another one at 110, and we'll see what it ends up doing from that point in time. Occidental Petroleum is another one that I like to track, which I believe Buffett just bought more of that. Did he not? A couple months ago, or weeks, whatever that was. Yeah, he bought more Oxy. And this is one that looks like it's been selling off pretty, in a straight line the past couple of weeks. It is down 20% almost, so almost in a bear market, guys. This is sold off a good amount, but, kind of going against the grain here. A lot of people are probably dumping this. They're not liking it. I feel like this could be a time to get in. Honestly, we're holding the uptrend right now. We've been bouncing around here, 62, 63, 64 for the past couple of days. We're holding this trend. I think we could be gearing up for some sort of move past, or towards rather, mid-high 60s. Maybe we touch that 70 mark, which is right by the 180 SMA, and then that's going to be a big test. If 70 breaks, then we're talking a full-on breakout. But overall, Occidental Petroleum, it's just been in the doghouse. And I think it needs, not that it needs to, but it could be, gearing up for a breakout. And it needs to, for us to even see that, it needs to break 65, which I'm going to put my alert at right now. This is right by the 50 SMA here on the 4-hour chart. If that is able to break, watch out above for Occidental Petroleum here. So let's see what Netflix did today. I actually got a subscriber request for Netflix. Make sure you guys drop me any stocks you want me to talk about in the comments down below. I appreciate you all for tuning in as always. And without you, seriously, this would not be possible. I mean, this channel, anything I do on social media would not be possible without you guys. So I appreciate you all as always. And seriously, I'd love to know all your thoughts in the comments, different stocks, whatever. Drop them down below. And Netflix is one that we've been calling out time and time again, right? We had the triangle play out, which it broke out of $308, $9, $10, right? We ended up running all the way to about 320, broke that, ran a 330. Now we're kind of playing between this $330 to $320 range. In fact, we're a little bit under $320 as I'm making this video. And in the meantime, honestly, I think Netflix is going to be playing in this range. Maybe it might even go down to 310. Honestly, it might retest 310 and play in this little $15, $20 window, but I'm going to set my alert at 330, which again, we called this out I think about a week ago, whenever it was. We called out the move to 330, which you guys can see that is where this stock was back in early April. Do you guys remember early April? Netflix was at right around 330, 335. Then they reported earnings and it was just destruction. I mean, it went to $220, $210 2 days after they reported earnings, and it was just a downhill move since from that point, right? But obviously, since that point, Netflix has been crawling out of, the gutter, right? And at this point, we filled that 330 gap. If that point really starts breaking, now we're talking about we're going to be in levels that we haven't been at since March, early April, and it could be really, it could really start moving towards that 350 mark, 355, 360. Which, if you guys look, the day that they reported those earnings, if I zoom in even closer here, the day they reported, look at the top of this candle. It was at $360 on April 19th. So that's where this could be going if 330 breaks. Obviously, it's not going to go, in my eyes, straight to 360, 365. But could it go to that point over time, over a couple weeks, months? For sure, as that would be a huge technical break for the bulls. So keep your eyes on Netflix, guys. Apple is another one, of course, the big dog Apple, which we still have that inverse head and shoulders on, and it's still not playing out. That right shoulder does not want to budge, and it's been doing that for a couple of days. So watch out for Apple here. But Microsoft is one that's budging. The right shoulder is moving. We called this out a couple videos ago, and now it looks like it wants to test mid 260s, low 260s at least, which if that were to break, 270 especially, Microsoft could really start gearing up. It could really start making a push towards, who knows, the 280, 90 level, maybe even higher than that. I have another alert at 300, which who knows when it's going to get to 300 again. I'm sure it will at some point. I mean, it's freaking Microsoft, guys, but it's a tricky market we're in. Like I said, it's very difficult to predict this stuff, but Microsoft looks pretty decent, and 270 is where my alert's at. We will see what it does from that point. And look at Monster, guys. MNST, this little switch up here, but Monster's finally over $100. Do you guys remember I was talking about this stock like a madman for probably a year and a half? Not every day, but you know, we'd cover it, and it never seemed like it'd break $100. But now it's done that, and this is another one that's in a stealth bull market. Yeah, it's at all-time highs right now. Monster is at all-time highs right now in the midst of the bear market we're in. This is unbelievable. It just hit $105, and you know, we are looking a little bit toppy here. I'm not gonna lie, but who knows? Our bull is gonna push through 105, which we have a little bit of a triple top at. Do you guys see that right here? If bulls do get out of this point, which might happen, might not. If they do, though, there could be a big rip, a continuation on Monster to the point where we could be going even higher to fresh all-time highs, which would obviously be great to those already owning the stock. Let's see what else. Meta did pretty well, or it's doing well, as markets are about to close in an hour. It looks like Meta's, not an hour, a minute. Meta is up 1.3% right now, and it looks like it's closing right under that 125 level, which I talked about, I think, in my last video. 125 is huge. If this breaks on Meta, more upside. I think there's going to be a leg up from that point. I'm also watching Visa, which keeps on, you know, fiddling around here between 215, 20. My alert's at 220. If that breaks, I'm still sticking to it, guys. Visa to about 228, 230, maybe even higher. I think the all-time high is 250. Let me double check that. 250, yeah, 252 is the all-time high. So if Visa ends up taking out 220, followed by 230, we have a wide open gap to $252 a share. At least that's what I personally think. So markets just closed, guys. And with that being said, I'm going to close up the video. So if you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, make sure to subscribe. And if you want some free money, don't forget to get up to 20 stocks from Moomoo, each up to $2,000. All you got to do is use that link down below, deposit at least $100, and boom, you get up to 20 stocks, each up to $2,000. And if you want 12 additional stocks, use that Webull link as well. And if you want to check out the Patreon, that's linked down below. And with that being said, cheers, guys. I will catch you in the next video. Peace out.